It's December 14th, 1995. The survivor is Sidney Schrank. I'm interviewing him. My name is Anne Bernard. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America, and we are speaking in English. This is December 14th, 1995. The survivor is Sidney Schrank. I'm interviewing him. My name is Anne Bernard. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America, and we're conducting the interview in English.
Here we go.
Would you tell us your name, please?
My name is Sidney Schrank.
And what's your Hebrew name?
Shoah Schrank.
And when were you born?
I was born in Jawonik, Poland. In what year? 25th, 1921. 1921.
What was the month that you were born?
The month I was born in 1921.
In January.
In January.
And how old are you now?
Now I'm 20. I'm 75. I'm gonna be end of this month.
And would you tell us about your family? How many brothers did you have?
I have call the names: Laser, Giel, Alter, Schmiel, and Haskell, and that's in the
Joseph?
Joseph.
And did you have any sisters?
Yes. Rivka, Rashka, Sarah, Bela, and
Dora?
Dora, Anna. That's it.
And were you the youngest or the oldest, or how did you fall into that family in terms of your age?
I was a younger one than me, but he went away. He died normal, and I was the second after him. And then.
Did you all have the same mother?
No. I had the same mother. The only one that was father when my father remarried. He had children, and my mother had her children. I was the only one where my father remarried. So I had what? I was the only one with this, with the father, with the mother. The other father from the other children, he was killed in the army. He was in the First World War. That's.
What was your mother's name?
My name Chaya Yas. The family was Yas.
And your father's name?
Feivel Schrank. Feivel Schrank.
What did your father do?
My father had a business, it's like a small liquor store, like a original, like a little store where they sell to people, like a grocery, a small grocery. And then he had a land. He was occupied on the land. They had horses and cows, chicken, like a farm, it wasn't a big farm. And this is a make a sometimes like bought by farmers, they didn't have where to sell, they had to go far to our town. So my father bought off, and he sold it, went to the market, he sold it, he had his customers.
Would you consider that in those times your father was comfortable in terms of his financial circumstances?
I wouldn't say it wasn't rich. Wasn't rich, but not. I forgot his name. When I need this, they mentioned this name. He is in Little Neck. He's in Little Neck.
Mazer.
Mazer. Mazer. Matter of fact, I was there yesterday. And I go to Forest Hill to the other butcher over there. It's the only places that you have kosher.
Did you go to a very religious school?
I had a tutor home. I had a tutor who was teaching Hebrew, Jewish.
And what about Polish? Where did you learn Polish?
I went to school, Polish school. For example, I was the only Jew when I went to school. And all right, when they say over there, they said the prayers. The only Gentile children. I had to stand up. I wore my hat, not without a hat, in the Gentile schools. And this is, I was going over there. The school was up to the 4th grade, but you have to make that 7 years in this grade, to make up the 4 grades made like you went to the 7th class and 7th grade. And this is the way, and later it was things.
So why did you have a tutor at home?
Why? The only thing we didn't have, like in the big cities, you had schools. You got Hebrew schools. You didn't need. You had like here you have the yeshiva university. You know which one I mean. And they have a school. You had a yeshiva. Here also you have yeshivas. You don't need no private. This is not private. You pay tuition.
Were you the only student that the teacher tutored in Hebrew? Or were there many children like yourself?
Sometimes we had, but I had only one tutor they had. But some of them, they had a couple of children, not by us, the other places they had. You had to pay, you had to have money. They didn't work for nothing, the teachers. You paid them.
Were you bar mitzvahed?
What a question. Sure I was bar mitzvah. And how? I know very well the prayers. And still, what do you think I pray now too? I go every Saturday, I go to shul. And holidays, other times. I'm not rich. You know, like the Gentile, they give 10% from their salaries they work. I had some people that I used to work with them, and they were, black, dark people, and they used to tell me, whatever she made for the year in pay, 10% they brought it, gave it charity. 10% of the earning, whatever. For example, if they made $10,000, and they were certain sincere. They gave the 10% for the year, and they were people who believed. They believed in.
Could you describe your memory of your bar mitzvah?
My memory from Bible. You see, when I was small, we had a temple, and and it didn't make ceremonies. You made a little party, your bar mitzvah in the temple, and you were educated. You did the prayers, what you were taught, what you were supposed to know about it. And this was the whole party.
Did your relatives come from all over to come to the party?
Oh yeah, but they didn't travel. The Saturdays, holidays, they came in before. They had to make room for them. They stood till after the holiday. After Saturday, they didn't go home. You kept them. Children, some children, for example, now if my daughter makes her children, so some people they're religious, they don't travel on the holidays and the Saturdays, so they keep them till the holiday or the Saturday is over. And then after this they go home. You keep them, you feed them. They have no choice. This way they're raised.
How long did you stay in school for? In the Polish school? To what grade?
Well, we're saying the work, I was to do fourth grade. It was like 7. So you made up 2 years. You taught it like here. You make up a certain what you had to finish.
So could you recall how old you were around that time?
That time I was about 14 years, 13, 14 years.
About 1935.
About 1935, this was already, this was already the war. Yeah, sure, the 1935. It wasn't a war at that time. No war, no. At that time I was about something like 3rd, 4th grade.
So you finished school, and did you work for your father when you finished school?
Yeah, I worked for my father. I helped him out in the store.
Did you decide that that was going to be your trade at that time as a farmer and a salesperson in his store?
No, I didn't think of this. I figured I'm gonna go for trade. I started to work to make suits, custom work as a teacher. I started to. They were teaching me. At the beginning when you were teaching, you have to take out the garbage from the dirt, the wipe. A beginner. So they give them for a while. They give them this the dirty work, what they say. Till they see you already. You can do some work. So they wanted themselves. They teach you the work like they used to do. So I start already to learn this. So he gave me already work. And sometimes, so he paid me already. Not much, but I start to get the trade.
And you did that for a few years?
Yeah, I was doing not too long. What did I do? I didn't know what I went to do. I was working I don't remember for how long I worked. And,
do you remember any kind of anti-Semitic feelings when you went to school? You said you were the only Jewish child in the school.
Oh, yes.
Could you describe that to us?
We had always anti-Semitism, always anti-Semitic, and even now is worse. I have properties in Europe. A lot of properties, my brothers, my sisters, my parents, everything. They found out, for example, I was liberated. I wanted to go back to Poland. I was the only survivor from the whole family. Everybody, they were killed. They took them away to the gas chambers. I was in Auschwitz, was working 24 hours, 4 crematoriums. Every day there were guests, every day thousands of people. But anyhow, I wanted to go to Poland. I wanted to see if I can get some to my, I was the only survivor. I could get some of this property. So a guy came from Poland. Like, I suppose I started to go already up to the train. And somebody came from Poland, said, where are you going? I knew this guy. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to Poland. Look, I was looking, I'm going to look, maybe I'll find somebody for my family. Then wanted to get some back my property. He says, what? You lived through Hitler. Now you want to go, they didn't kill you, the Nazis, so now you want to go, they had Armia Krajowa, this is in Polish. This is the army from the land. They called Armia Krajowa. Wherever they found out somebody came to Poland to ask, they wanted back the property, what they took. They owned it already, like they owned. So I said, look, I went through so much in my life. Hitler, now I'm going to go, I survived. Now I'm going to go give my life over there. And said, look, I did see people in front of me. One man was a very rich man. He had stores, plenty stores he had, a rich man. Then when they start taking away those people with the transport, and he went, also, so it was the Aussiedlung, they called it in German, they called it Aussiedlung, when they loaded them on the cattle wagons, you know. They put them in 100 in a cattle wagon till the place where they came. They were, I mentioned, they took them, that's what I heard. Nobody, the Gestapo, they didn't tell me where they take them. Nobody know. So they went and they took this guy. You had the Gestapo. You're supposed to have a permit. If you wanted to get out from the ghetto, you couldn't get out. You had to have the permit when you had to go to work. Not just like this. You couldn't walk in the street just like this. Only when you had to go to work, you had to have a permit from the Gestapo, SS. And so this guy shows him, he got a whip, and he shows him this, and come here, Jude. Comes over here, takes up the whip, the whip what they had for horses, you know. He start to hit him over his head. He cut his face. You couldn't see. You could see it like it was cut with a knife. Then he takes out the gun. In front, you could imagine, I'm just next to him. And he finished him. And then I showed him the thing. The guy, verfluchte Jude, get lost. There was a barrack on the side over there, a house. I didn't walk in, I flew in this building, and you couldn't look out the window, otherwise they would shot you there. And this was going on and on and on like this, they were loading up the people in the cattle wagon. I was already there.
Let's pick that up a little later and talk about the anti-Semitism that you may have experienced as a schoolboy first.
Yes.
And because you were the only Jew. Could you describe that feeling to us first? Did you have any anti-Semitic reactions when you were a schoolboy going to school?
Oh yeah. The kids alone, they used to beat up. After school, they were waiting outside. And were beat up, and they called names. I don't remember the names. Some of them, they said, you don't belong here, like you go, Zhidje the Palestinian, Jude, you know, you're Jewish, you know, the name is in German, Jude, get lost, you don't belong here, you go to Palestine. That time was Palestine, wasn't Israel.
How did you feel when school children, your classmates, said this to you?
I felt very bad. very bad I felt. But what could I do? I
Were
had
you
to-
frightened?
Look, wasn't like now. But some of them after school they beat up. They beat me up many times.
How did you defend yourself?
I run away. If I could, I run away. But they didn't go with guns like they're going now here. Kids go with guns to schools. But they beat you up. And after school, you didn't feel like going to school, but still, you had to go to school.
Would you say that most of your friends were Jewish or Christian at that particular time when you went to school?
I went to school.
Did you have many Jewish friends or Christian friends?
Christian. We had friends, Christian friends, but not so many. We had anti-Semitic. They were there all the time. But you had nice people too. Like you have here now, right now, these colored people. Some of them they say anti-Semitic things. Some of them they very nice. They not anti-Semitic. They nice. I had people I was living with before I came here. They were people. So I said, I'm moving out tomorrow. I'm moving out. Why are you moving? Such a lovely people, colored people. They're such a lovely. They were living in the same floor as I lived. And I tell you the truth, I liked it sometimes better than my own people. I liked it. They were very, very intelligent people, nice. And you had plenty anti-Semitic. And this goes on and on and on. You have plenty. And right now, you got here too.
What were some of your earliest memories of family events in your home? Do you have any recollection of those? Celebrations and holidays, Hanukkah or Rosh Hashanah. Do you have any memories of that you can tell us about?
Oh, yes. Hanukkah, we had parties. Hanukkah, this is a holiday joy. And, you know, the Hanukkah is what they, how can I express this? The Hanukkah, miracles, happen miracles with the landly, the oil, you know, supposed to be for one day, and was lighting a whole week. This drop of oil what they had, only it's supposed to be for one day, and this lasts for a whole week. This drop of oil, this is the miracles from the holiday from Hanukkah.
So did you have a happy Hanukkah experiences growing up before the war?
Yes, we lived nicely. The
Did
holiday
you have parties?
parties.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was in the temple. The temple we used to have parties. Yeah, not so big like we're having here. It's different. Here, at that time, didn't have the money to spend. And
Did
we
you
lived.
December 14th, 1995. The survivor is Sidney Schrank. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America. My name is Anne Bernard, and I'm interviewing him. Mr. Schrank, would you please continue and tell us what was your first inkling of danger and that there might be a war coming on? Would you tell us that?
Yes. The first thing is they took us they grabbed whoever they caught, and they used to come and pull out people some of them from the houses when they arrived. And they used to put us on labor work in the streets. First of all, cleaning, first they gave us to clean the trucks, the army trucks, bicycles, this is what they had, the motorcycles. we should clean it. And then the roads, mud roads, they didn't have roads like we have it here. It was mud. It wasn't, wasn't made asphalt. Like here they put it with the asphalt. The roads, everything was fine. And after this, they start to take us, the Jewish people, they start to take us in a ghetto. The ghetto was the name Pilsner. They used to take in the small ghetto, there was a lot of ghettos. From the small ghettos, they used to take the big ones, from the, not only the one what I was in the small ghetto, but they had a lot of ghettos, the small ones, and they brought it back in the big ghettos, so a couple of thousand people. And this was near railroads. They made sure they didn't have the transport, and only they walked them over with the SS. They took you shouldn't escape. This load you in the next day.
Could you say to us, who is they? When you say they, who are these people that did this?
The SS Gestapo.
Were they Germans?
Germans, SS. So they were the ones. They were shooting in the street like birds.
Where were the Poles?
The Poles didn't have. They were there, but they didn't. The whole saying had the SS, the Gestapo. They were the whole bosses, and they were shooting. They didn't like somebody. They shot right there before they brought them even to the truck, to the train, the cattle train.
Was the Polish army helping the Germans? Did you see anyone in a Polish army uniform?
They helped other ways. They helped. You had some Polish ones, what I mentioned. They were Volksdeutschen. They were working with the Germans hand in hand. See, a lot of Jews, they hide themselves. Wherever they found a Jew, they brought him, or they killed them. You see, whatever they had with them is they had a little money, or if they had a little gold or something on them, and or they killed them. The Nazis shouldn't catch him, or they took away the money with the gold, and at the end they wanted to show they were very good, nice people, and otherwise they gave them over to the Gestapo. And the Gestapo, what the Gestapo did?
What year was this?
This was going on and on. They used to catch. This is in 19.
When you went to Pilsner, what year was that?
And I went to Pilsner. This was in 19 when the Hitler came. When the German came in that time. This was in 1939, 39, 38. They started taking out people. It was going on and on. They used to take them out, whoever, some people in different state, they were home. They used to come nighttime, midnight. Some of the gardens, they was calling up, "Runter, raus, raus," and from the homes. They came down, and then they load them up. They put them, take them away to the concentration camps.
What does aus mean?
Aus, get out, come out, house. See, people lived in beautiful homes and everything. They didn't expect to see they were sleeping and everything. They had certain groups. They had black with the cross things. They special were going from city to city. They were doing this, pulling out people from the homes and taking them away. Nobody knew where they took them.
When you went to Pilsner, did your family go with you?
When I came, I was working on the railroad. When I had the permit, what I said, only I could go with the permit. Without the permit. I came home from work in the morning. It was dark. Was bombed. The railroads were bombed. So peacetime, a Jew couldn't work on the railroad for millions. Only the Gentile, the Polacks, the Gentile people, they could work. So they went and they sent them away. I was working, remained. They took them away. At night, I came. It was already dark from Pilsner. They took them away in another gate, the Sammelpunkt they called it, where everybody came in one group. And from this group was near the cattle trains, and they load them up in the morning. That's me. I mean, the next day in the morning, start to load them up, and they load them up. That I came looking on my knees. I was walking around, thousands of people over there. So I used to go on my knees. I called my father's name and my brother's name. I figured you still like a needle in a sack hay. And I called their names. Nothing. SS was surrounded with SS, Gestapo. And so me, well, a SS man with a machine gun. Luckily, he didn't shoot straight or last, over the head. So I had to be quiet. Couldn't do it. And then they took them away. I couldn't get my father, my brothers, my sisters. They were there. Everyone was taken away. And I asked somebody from a Polish, I used to work on the railroad. In fact, I used to bring them clothing from the ghetto, and they used to bring you bread, butter. That's we exchange. We give them the clothing, and they gave us food, like this. The transport went away, and we hide it out. Otherwise, they were taking away with the permits too. They didn't look whoever came, or they shot him, or they took them anyhow. And I hid it. We were a group. We were working on the railroad.
So you didn't find your parents?
No.
No.
They got, since then, I didn't see them till today. My parents, my sisters, my brothers, husky boys and everything, up to date. Somebody told me from the Polish guys, they had more connection, among them. They find out from the other guys. They took them Majdanek to Treblinka. I think this transport, always before a holiday, this came out before Yom Kippur. And the holiday when it came, they made Aussiedlung. Aussiedlung, that means they transferred them away. Nobody knew where they take them, but some of the Polish, they used to come, they worked with us. They said, this transport yesterday went away. They went away to Majdanek, Treblinka. This is what happens. I had, matter of fact, after while I was in the wartime still, some of them, they got soap. Was on the soap riff. The name was, they made from they used to cremate them. From the dust, from the ashes, they used to make soap. And there was the name on it, riff. In the people, the human beings, we washed ourselves with the same soap. This was the thing.
You said that you worked on the railroad while you were at Pilsner? When you were in the Pilsner ghetto?
No, I was transferred from Pilsner. I was hiding, otherwise they would take me away too. Then they transferred us away to Dębica. You have it over there, Dębica.
How did you hide?
It was a barracks hiding away. We were lucky they didn't come look for us. When we went through, we had a Volksdeutschen. He was the guard. He was like a foreman. He was taking care of us. But we were lucky they didn't come to look for us. Otherwise, we will be there right away. And in Dembitsa, we went to Dembitsa, so we went and went on the railroad. Before we were going to Grabina, you had a Grabina also, the railroad where I was working. We were going to the train that took us. By train we went to Grabina. In the evening, almost dark, they took us back to the ghetto. We went.
So you were recaptured. You said you were hiding,
Yeah.
but then you got back into a work
Work.
group.
Work, yeah.
So you were captured.
But some of them, we weren't captured. We came along. We didn't have where to go. We go out from we could escape at night. Maybe they had the barbed wires. They had, but we go away. They'll get us. They'll get us anyhow. There's nowhere to go. Some of them they hide themselves. Some of them they were lucky. They hide out with the gentle people. Some of them they were good. I have a friend. He is in the big buildings. I have a couple of them. But one, he was hiding at they were about 4 families. They were hideouts, and they survived. Those Gentiles kept them hidden in bunkers, in walls, double walls. Then they were away from the others. They feeded them, in secret. They used to cook for a couple of people, those Polish people. But they remember them. Those Jewish people, they remember them very good, and they used to. Now, they gave them food. They used to bring them secretly food. Even the children, these Gentiles, they knew they have Jews. This is one from 100,000. You could go to like this. They should save a Jew. They saved them. He said, if I survive, I'll remember you. This man, all right, he is okay now. He's a builder. He was a builder. He retired now, and he sends them now clothing to Poland. He sends them money. He's a builder. Built houses. Not wooden houses. Houses, beautiful houses. He sends them $500, $1,000. He got money. He's a builder. Building up houses, and they selling the houses. And he got a couple others. You see, they were rather miserable people. Like he says, they saved him. He told them, and when this guy met him, he told them, look, he saved your life. Why don't you? They told me you don't give them nothing. He saved your life. Why don't you send them? They saved your life. I'm repeating. So he went. He's sending clothing. He sends a couple of times a year, and nice. He appreciates what they did. Not only one he saved. He saved 3, 4 families. He saved. A lot of people, they were hidden out. Even the children. Imagine this is unusual. A child should hold in them. Oh, look, my parents, they have Jews here. They're hiding them. I don't think if you have in this report, other people had this. What I went through. Believe me, I was undressed to be shot. I don't want to get in. I don't want to get into others.
Can we talk about how you went from being on the railroad to the next place, to the next labor camp that you were in? You were on the railroad for about how long working at that railroad?
Dembitsa. Yeah, from Dembitsa, they sent me to Plaszow. You have it there. Plaszow was also a labor camp. It was before the war, in 1938, they built this cemetery. And then after they went, they took out all the stones, and they was holes, big one. They was rocks. They mount, with the powder, they blow it up, you know, they bound, they were building streets in the street. He went in, on the,
What kind of work did you do with the cemetery?
yeah, we used they had the machines. They were digging out the corpse. So those were there was a cemetery, and they had to straighten out this, bring away this, straighten out, and we had to. They broke up the stones for the dead people. What do you call it?
Mausoleums?
Mausoleum. And he used to carry this away to a place. Four people are strong, but usually 8 people was tough. An SS man, Willie, I remember even his name. If I would see him, I would kill him myself today. He was going behind us, who couldn't hold on anymore, broke down. So he was going with a gun in his hand, couldn't go any further. That's it. Then we brought to a certain place those monuments. They used to break it in pieces. Women, they were working and they were chopping those in pieces. And they used to had to pull high on a mountain. They had to pull this. 6, 8 women they were pulling. They had little wagons on the tracks, little tracks, special with wagons. What they filled up with rocks. They had to bring it over. What they turned this over, sand also. What they dig it out from over there. And later, they were making the streets, like asphalt they made here with what this is they made on the rocks. And the end was they were building. I mentioned to you was an engineer. She built up a barrack in Plaszow. She built up a barrack, and she was a big storm. And this engineer was a lady engineer. And the big storm collapsed. It was only the scarlet, not the whole thing was built up. It was the scarlet she made. And all of a sudden, when there was a storm, pushed it over. Over there was the Lager commandant. You know, the Lager commandant, the leader from the camp. And he comes over, he says, what happened here? He's asking, what happened here? The barrack is laying on the floor. What happened? Fell down. What do you think he did? He took her and shot her right there. This is number one. You know, this guy lived in a villa, and he was going, they heard, Get is coming out. If somebody, a little hole would be, like the rats going in their mouth. If somebody could hide themselves in this hole, they would hide themselves. They didn't know where to go, didn't help nothing. So he was going with the beautiful, cars, the best. He had 2 dogs, big ones like this. He had trained they were trained the dogs. So he says, for the dog, Mensch, he called the dog, he called Mensch. Fasan dem Jude. He said, you, Mensch. Fasan, that means, he said this word, Fasan, Jude, this word. That's when the dog threw them and tore them in pieces. This was before breakfast. They used to call them up in the morning. They gave them a little water. They gave them a little slice bread. You're supposed to give them 3, the bread was sawdust and was crumbled. Sawdust and mixed, what the heck, little things. My wife would help me. Anyhow, it was made in the mill, the little flour, mixed with the sawdust. This they gave a little, supposed to be three for 3 portions for one. So they didn't do it, and the end was.
So he shot these people for breakfast?
Yeah, comes out with the Hassan, shot these people. No, he's to be satisfied, he had to kill 3, 4 people he had to kill while they're on the appeal, standing outside.
Where were you when all this was taking place?
I was there. I was lucky.
How did you get lucky?
I was lucky. You know, while we're going here, can I go to the same line when I was working in the concentration camps? I don't want to go further. No, I'll come to it. I'll come to it. Here, the left already.
You escaped the commandant's gets killing. Were you off the line when he was doing it? Were you nearby?
I was lucky. Our antreten was on the appeal. They called it an appeal, like the soldiers they have in the morning. They, together. So they went. He went away already, and people had to go to work. Those people like nothing. I don't want to go to this thing.
Did you manage with the food that you were given to feel less hungry or more hungry? How did you react to the food?
Oh, we were skeletons. We didn't get what, they used to peel potatoes. The potatoes they gave it to the SS, Gestapo. They ate the potatoes. We had, for example, we have a commando from 12 on work. 1,200 people were there working, the commander over there. So they gave us a little, they brought us lunchtime, they brought it to where we were working, a ladle water, soup. They made a soup in a big pot, it's a big thing. They gave us a ladle water. They cooked from this potatoes. The potatoes they ate, the SS, the Gestapo. We got the peels. If you found 5 peels, you never heard this. If you found 5 peels from the potatoes, you were lucky. This would be the big whole food, and everybody was flying like. And sometimes you didn't expect even. They came lunchtime with a truck. Just nowhere. I could be there. My best friend could be there. They picked it up. They picked up 10, 20 on the truck and took them right in crematorium. And took them, it was 5 minutes away. The 4 crematoriums were working. And 5 minutes later, when they took it away, they couldn't find them no more. They were ash from they gassed them. They gas, they used to, I don't know if you did see it, they throw it down the gas chamber. They choked them and they killed them in this way, and later they burned it, throw them in the, I didn't want to go to Poland. I wanted to go, I know, I was right there. My barrack was what, 200 yards. Well, 4 crematoriums were working, day and night. And if they brought in from outside people, they caught a lot of people outside. They caught them from even the outside. They brought them back many times. There's another section I have to go in. I don't want to go in. I don't want to.
What year was this that you were in Plasnow? What was the year approximately that you were in Plasnow?
In Plaszów.
Plaszów.
What was there? This was the cemetery. This was the cemetery. We were building, I told you, we were building the plantation. They digged out, and we were digging out we had a thing to throw it in this wagon, and later they turned this was holes, straighten this out. The stones, everything was taken away. They built the streets from the
Was this
monument.
1940 or 1941?
Plaszow was about 1941. 1940. This is right near Krakow. In 1941, this is. From
And what happened to you after you built this road?
this road, we built barracks. The barracks, they made factories over there. You know, they were working, they had people, but they were professionals from 4 years, all kind of trades, and they had them in this barracks. And they had watches on them, the Germans, they were watching. But later they didn't have while the front was going less and less people, so they used to take away the army. But even they need them. When they need them, they used to do working for the SS or the Gestapo for them. They let you do it. They were the bosses. And meanwhile, they made a suit for one guy. He made one. He was a shoemaker. Made shoes. Everything the best. They had the best people. I mean, professionals. They used to do.
How many labor camps were you in?
Labor camps. I was about 8 labor camps.
Could you just briefly describe to us what some of the others were?
The others, Plaszow, and from Plaszow it took me away to Ostrovets, and I can tell you what I was doing in Ostrovets? No. And from Ostrovets I went to Birkenau.
We'd like to hear what happened to that labor camp. Please tell us.
On that labor camp, we were working. One labor camp was, we were working was a factory. They melted melting steel. They were melting. Those were working in the summertime. The water was, the sweat was, they couldn't, by the fire, but you know, by the fire, melting. And some of them, they had this job. Some, like me, I was staying up to here in mud, in a hole, deep, maybe 9 foot deep. We had to take this out with shovels. Up, they pulled this up. We had to load it up this, and they pulled this up. Mud. This was my job.
We'll pick this
Not
up
only
on.
I was the only one. We had a lot of them.
We'll pick this up on the next tape. December 14th, 1995. The survivor is Sidney Schrank. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America. I'm interviewing him. My name is Anne Bernard. Mr. Schrank, can we please pick up on Ostrovets and what happened to you when you were digging the mud? You were in a hole with a lot of mud. And you were digging it out?
Yes.
Why were you digging out the hole?
With the dirt, they're going to build something inside in this. What they're going to, it was mud. What they're going to make over there, I don't know.
Did you do that for a long time?
I was there for a while, yeah, but I didn't, I jumped before. I should go first with Mauthausen.
Mm-hmm.
Before this, what I
You went, okay.
Yeah.
Well, can we just finish what you did in Ostrovets first?
Ostrovets.
Did you have many jobs there?
No, this was the job. This was the job. And
So there were a lot of holes to dig?
No, I didn't do, later I was transit away. I was out from over there, from this place, and I was going to Mauthausen. Going to Mauthausen.
So tell us about Mauthausen.
When we arrived to Mauthausen, we couldn't get in the barracks. We had to wait. It was winter time, cold outside. We hungry, so they had the big outside were frozen like rocks. We were hungry, so we tried to melt it a little bit and have something from this. And we couldn't get in to take a bed, to go through the whole thing inside, take a bed to clean us up. And then we went, we had to take a shower. They let us out in the winter, maybe 10 degrees, nude. In the entree, and everybody was staying in the line. Nude, winter, 10 degrees. And finally they brought us up after maybe 20 minutes. We were staying like this. They brought us a blanket. We will stay away till the rest will come out. And we came. Then they took us in a barrack. In a barrack, it was a barrack. Maybe we were there. Yeah, we were there in this barrack. How much was this? I don't remember exact, but I'll tell you. It was maybe about 1,000 people inside. We couldn't see it like human. We were saying on the floor. I mean, everybody was sitting. If they had to go to the latrine, to the bathroom, they had to step on each other. They couldn't go otherwise. It was packed, and everybody was sitting all in the line. And we were there not long. Mauthausen, yeah, they took us out over there. They mined the mountain with the rocks. We had to pick this up, and we had to push it away. Also the rocks with the wagons. And I was there. And this was not long. I was over there. I don't remember. Right, along the length. It's very hard for me to tell this how long I was over there, but I was more or less 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks.
Would you recall that this might have been the winter of 1942?
Could
Possibly, because you said it was the winter.
That's right. It was winter. It was cold. Yeah, it was a frost. I remember those. They call this. It's like melons. It's like melons. They were outside. The people were grabbing this and have something in their mouth. So I did too. This was in the winter. After this, I was there. I can tell you about 3 or 4 weeks. And from over there, we went away to Austerlitz. From Austerlitz.
Did you go to Birkenau?
Yeah, after I come to Birkenau, Austerlitz. From Austerlitz, we went to Birkenau. Birkenau, the beginning, we didn't do nothing for a while. Till later we got those, how we suffered with this. They were punching with chicken feathers, the feather from the chickens, the goose. And they were punching, you should feel it, punching with ink. See, this is with ink. And they put in the needle and hold it, pushing. Yes, you should suffer. I would suffer.
Do you remember how you felt?
I felt bad. But it didn't mean nothing to them. To them it didn't mean nothing. I felt bad, but I survived. And
what is your number?
4991. can never forget this number. I remembered every little thing what they did to me. I couldn't tell you in a month what I knew to tell you. I told a lot of them the beginning. I told them, but nobody wanted to listen. They weren't interested. So like I told you, you here in America, so was my niece who said, you in America here, forget about it, what was. I said, I can't forget it. I have a wound here, and this wound I can't heal it so fast. I'll never will be healed. And from over there.
What was Birkenau like as a camp?
As a camp, I was there in the lager for a while, and then later they sent us out to Birkenau, in Birkenau. We were going to work, and I'll never forget it, even these things. We used to go singing to work. The Judenrat hat uns reingenommen. The Judenrat fooled us, the brothers here.
What does that translate to?
The Judenrat, this is the committee, the Jewish committee. They had a special, like they have here a committee, something, if they have a meeting, something. They fooled them, they brought us in here. So it was a song, all kind of things. And from after this, I was working over there for a while in Birkenau. I was over there in Birkenau. I was there, I don't remember, maybe almost about 3/4 of a year, about 10 months.
What kind of work did you do there?
Over there, what was the work over there?
Did you work outside?
Outside. They brought us even the soup with the peels. They brought us over there, and with the water, what they gave a ladle water. And like this, we survived for about 10 months, I guess. But I was no, it's less. I wasn't there so long. I was less while I don't want to mention the other. So I went over there. It was less than 10 months. It was about 7 months. 7 months. From over there, I was shipped to to Auschwitz. I went to Auschwitz. Auschwitz, I was taking in Auschwitz, what I was doing over there now. Yeah, I was taking apart the airplanes. Over there I was a year. In Auschwitz I was a year. I was liberated. No, we marched away. I was liberated. Auschwitz, I was and were working on the airplanes, taking apart. Then later, we dismantled these things. We were a group, special, 1,200 people, this group. And we were working, taking apart this, they shipped back to factories for the fixing airplanes.
Where did you dismantle the airplanes?
Over there, in Mauthausen, in Auschwitz.
What kind of a place was it in Auschwitz? Was it a hangar where the airplane was, an airplane hangar? Was it an airfield? Was it indoors or outdoors?
They brought it in, they shot them down. They shot them down, those airplanes, and they needed the parts they didn't have. It was wartime. And they sent this back to factories, and they made parts, new parts.
What kind of airplanes? From what countries were they?
From American, English, American, English. Those they were involved with the with the Nazis.
What part of the airplane did you dismantle?
What part? A lot of parts. There were pieces. Pieces we take. Well, can I describe this? They have a price. The airplanes. I'm not. I don't know what I. The parts. What they had. All kind of parts. An airplane have.
Did you just get the parts, or was the whole airplane delivered to Auschwitz?
They probably have it had in other places too, but this was a place where they shot him down probably there. This I don't know, for maybe they bought him from someplace else, other thing. But they shot down. They were passing plenty through Auschwitz. Plenty airplanes were going. American, English. Every day we prayed to God. They should bomb us. There was a cemetery there. We prayed to God. Maybe we can hide us here with the dead till we should get up later when we'll be free. Didn't happen. Thank God, but we lived through. They passed by the Americans, all escadrons. You know, they were in one shot. They were going 25 airplanes in one shot. They were going one after another. They were going to bomb.
Do you remember any kind of extreme mistreatment that you had at Auschwitz?
Mistreatment. I don't know about what is mistreatment. I didn't know the mistreatment. I didn't know nothing. Every second could be my. We didn't know who will be next. Plenty of them. They took them right and left. They took them to crematorium. The crematorium was right there.
Did you eat any better because you were working there on the planes? Did you get extra food because of your job?
Yeah, we got extra food. We got a third of bread. All right, not the real wet, but I said with the
Sawdust.
With sawdust, with a little flour. But my wife knows what they call. She makes soup.
Barley.
Barley, yeah. This was made flour and mixed with the flour sawdust, and we got a piece, a quarter salami. This was special. We were special. Nobody got this. The bread and the salami. Only we got it. The 1,200 people. We were a special group.
Was this men and women or just men?
Men. Most men. And this is, I was working over there. I was there a year. I did see Mengele there.
How did you see him?
He passed by. One time they pointed, oh, here, Mengele. I didn't know him. I didn't know. He was, what he was doing to the woman, to the, he took away he wanted his people, the Germans, they should have twins, children, the blood, and his people, the German people, wanted they should have two children. And
what happened after the year that you were in Auschwitz? Where did you go?
In Auschwitz, yeah, they sent me, I was there a year. We marched from Auschwitz, we marched about 10 days. 10 days. And also for the march, we got on the way also a piece of bread. We didn't have, but we got it for a whole week. We marched more than a whole week. It was winter time. Some of them, they didn't have even boots. They had the Holland, with the wooden, in Holland there were the shoes, the Holland. And in winter was snow, they couldn't walk. The snow stuck to them when there was soft snow and it was wet. Stuck to the people couldn't walk even. And who couldn't walk who couldn't walk, they had a group, SS people with dogs behind them, and who remained couldn't walk further. Every 2-3 yards you found that we were going, and those who they couldn't walk no more, they remained there. They shot them right away. The same they made sure he shouldn't be alive. So they shot whoever they shot in the head with dum calls. You know, when they shot him, exploded. They made sure nobody will remain here. They want. This was their est, their last. This is their end. They knew they already wouldn't be long. They'll be there. So whoever there shot him. You see every yard, 2 yards, dead people.
How did you manage to survive?
How should I? As I'll tell you. I had my head, not like today I have a head. I have sawdust, not brains right now. This I'm telling you. I used to go, was a mile. We were at Russians from other countries, from all over the world. You had people. Russians. I used my head. I started to get already a little weaker. I said, I was made sure when I came already close to the end, and I came, I start to march further. When I came to the front, it took maybe an hour from there till they reach me. I can rest. I sit down as long as I didn't remain after the end, otherwise I am dead. So I went and I marched ahead. If I rested up, then I was slowing down till I came to the back. When I came to the back, it was the same thing. That's the only way I survived.
So you created a distance between yourself and the rest of the marchers.
I made the distance, I created the distance from the front, what I could rest till I come to the end. Was a march, was 27,000. It took them maybe an hour and a half till they marched to, they just came with this, just in that's right, it took us about an hour and a half, maybe more.
How many other men and women did that with you?
How many?
In the front, that went in the front like you did.
I didn't tell them how many they very seldom I didn't see them. Whoever knew what to do, another thing, I took a chance. The Germans, they wanted we should go hooked up, one to each other. Four in a line. You were going hooked up. So you were with a chain. And this way I was doing till I came further. This is it. In Auschwitz, I was a whole year. I was over there already. I was over there already. From Auschwitz, where did we go from Auschwitz? From Auschwitz, we went to Birkenau. From Birkenau, what I did do in Birkenau, I don't remember.
You went to Mauthausen on the march.
Yeah.
We're on the march, and where did you wind up at the end of the march? In Mauthausen.
In Mauthausen? Yeah, I didn't end it up. I went to, they sent us a small, 2 little camps. They used to bring us up maybe 1,000 feet high. And we used to go in steps. In winter was icy. Some they did the Germans, and they used to push him down. This way they killed it. It's a schade ein Kugel. It's a sin to waste a bullet. So what they did, they took him all the way up. You know, like I told you now, the steps were very narrow. It was icy, and they used to push him down. And this is the way they didn't have to. They said it's ein schade, it's a sin to use a bullet. And you know what they did? I don't want to go further. I wanted to tell you something with children. Also, is something when they're small children. Small children, they used to take and is a schade ein Kugel. This was in Auschwitz. I'm going back. They used to take these small children. Also, schade ein Kugel is a sin. Also, to use waste a bullet. They used to take small children, a couple of months old, tiny, a year old, take them by the leg. I did see this. They used to hit them against the wall. And this is the way they killed them. You see, look, I don't remember half. You see, I feel bad. I can't tell you what I knew. I knew everything, but I didn't use it. I wanted to tell my family, but my nieces, they should. I can tell you, I'm the saver, 1 from a million. Okay, 6 million Jews were killed in Auschwitz alone. Was over there, I think, over 3 million Jews in Auschwitz alive, and they went away to Treblinka. Over there was also they supposed to give a Polak. He was carrying the train, you know, a Polak. He was the engineer. They call the engineer the train thing. He came over there as a Polak up to here. Here's the border. Out. Polak is out. He went back. From where he come? He couldn't. I wasn't there. I don't know. He went back with the same. So he went. SS-men took over. They had a building and everything. They brought them inside with the train. They pulled them inside the train, and they came over there. They told them everyone should have to undress, put nice the clothing, like right over there, and gave them a shower. They're supposed to be. They had the hats, you know. There was showers. They promised they were going to give them showers. Yeah, they gave them showers. They gave them gas. So this is the way they killed over there when they took Treblinka. My parents, when they went from Dembitz, they went to the last. What I said was the lag. I said they took him over there. Treblinka, Maidan. This was their end. They didn't give them no showers. They gave them gas.
How many people do you think survived the death march that you were on? Do you have any idea of the number?
How many survives? Maybe half from what they had. I'm just telling you, every yard, 2 yards, you had dead people.
This was in the winter of 1945.
The beginning. But I went, something, but almost by the end, while I went to Melk, I was liberated. I had 2 camps. I forgot what the little camp was the other one.
Ebansi. Ebansi? Ebansi.
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 Ebansi. I think so.
Who liberated you?
The American.
How did they do that?
How they do that? They came in with the tanks.
Which camp was this?
In
Ebansi?
I think so. I want to say what I want to say. You see, this camp, the last camp, the Lager Commandant, you know, every camp had lagers, they leaders. he called up, he had over there people from all over the world, you know. Anyhow, he says, look, we heard already shooting, the American soldiers, they were shooting, you know, so everybody know the army is close already, the American coming close. And we went, yeah, the Lager Commandant went and he called appeal, you know, all the people outside. And he got a lot of people, they have all interpreters, all languages. You got over there maybe 100 interpreters, you know. And he came, the Lager Commandant, and he had all kind of people, they knew the languages. They knew how to interpret. You got people with languages too. He picked out the languages. The Lager Commandant comes out, he says, and he holds a speech. He says, look, we know the American already coming closer here. We afraid they shouldn't bomb here. They said they're going to kill us. They should bomb here. So he said, you know, he didn't tell us it was a mountains. You could bomb it. You couldn't hear nothing. Only a little shake, a little bit. They were bombs. They dropped bombs. They knew underneath they had factories. They made airplanes over there, in trucks, everything. They were building underneath, but they couldn't do nothing. They built only a little car, like you would throw a little something. You didn't hear nothing. They couldn't bomb this. So he didn't say he had already put in mines in underneath. And his plan was to get in the people. So this way, he says, they're going to save us. He didn't mention about his mind, everything. We only had to listen to go in. This would be the end. Then it would go 27,000 people. That's it. It would be chop meat over there. So then the American, so everybody, even those gangsters, they had gangsters before the war, they were taking care of other people. They were arrested, and they were the watchers. They were the watchers.
We'll pick this up in a minute.
Oh.
The survivor is Sidney Schrank. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America. I'm interviewing him. My name is Anne Bernard. Mr. Schrank, please tell us where and when you were liberated.
I was liberated in 1945 in Milk, and
Where is that? In what country is Milk?
Austria. And
Did you arrive there from Auschwitz, from the march? Went on a march,
yeah,
and from March you arrived in Milk.
no.
What was that? A small or big camp?
This is a small. I didn't have a chance even to see anything. I don't know if it's small, if it's big. We were there when 2 or 3 days.
And then what happened?
We were liberated. Then we went.
How were you liberated? What did you see happen?
I see. I was the soldiers. The American came in, so they were the bosses already. We went already they gave us already no food. American. We didn't have nothing to do no more with when UNRWA came.
Tell me about the food the Americans gave you first. Did they feed you when they came into the camp?
Yes, we had food from UNRWA. They gave us clothing. They gave us UNRWA, and they gave us food. And this was for a while till we went to the international UNRWA
Where
camp
did you go? Where was that camp?
in Bari,
In what country?
Italy.
And how did you get from Milk, Austria to Bari, Italy?
To Bari, how I got the American soldiers brought us over the border. The Italian, they knew the government, but they were working hand in hand. The Italian people, very nice people. And they took us and they said, quiet, we're going over the border now. You know, the Italian, we're going from Austria to Italy. We should be quiet. This was baloney, but they made it believe we shouldn't make, noise. And we were there, then we went back. I forgot this. I was in Cinecittà, this was in Italy. Over there, the UNRWA was there, the Jewish committee, the Jewish joint committee, the Jewish joint committee, and we didn't have nothing, so they gave us clothing to be dressed. We didn't have nothing. I had an outfit I had with on the side here with a put in a piece of ink with a number here. And I got a number one here and one I got here. The numbers. What was the nationality? What was I had the Jewish star. I had the Jewish star. And I had the Jewish star in the
So you took the star off your sleeve?
Yes. And this was the uniform what I had. Take off the numbers. I had enough. I got this number here.
How long were you in the camp in Bari?
This was an international camp. How long I was in Bari? There's so many things in my head I can't remember.
Was it a few months or a few weeks?
It was a while. I wanted to go to Israel. See, I came to Italy I wanted to go. We know illegal ships are going to Israel. And I wanted to reach there. We were a group of 125 youngsters. We were trained already for Israel. We were waiting till the boat will come. We were very close to the ocean, and they load us up and we go to Israel. When a lot of them, they went to Israel, a lot from my friends too. And when they came in Israel, the English, they had a whole English, and they used to catch the people, they put them to Cyprus. A lot of them, they were in Cyprus for a while. They didn't send them back, but leave it to the Israelis. They know how to handle these things. And they got out, a lot of them, from Cyprus, but they were there for a long time too.
You said you were trained to go to Palestine. Where were you trained to do this?
So when we come Italy, when we come to Israel, we know what we're gonna have to do. This is the. It was different. We in our land, what we didn't know nothing, and that's why we didn't have a chance. With this, we were trained in Italy. This before we went, they were teaching us, certain main thing what we need certain Hebrew. They came some Israelis. They didn't know. They didn't know Polish. They didn't know Jewish. Hebrew. I know a few words. I picked up few words.
So why is it that you didn't go to Palestine?
Why? My two sisters stopped me. You see, they stopped me. Don't go to America. You're gonna go. They had to make for me. I didn't come illegal. I wouldn't come to the government. Otherwise, you had to give a guarantee. Who gave me the papers? I wouldn't I wouldn't come to the government. They should support me. I said, so my sisters, they guaranteed my family. I had call the papers, the
Affidavit?
affidavits. I got everything. I came legal. Didn't have to go to the government. I was single. My sister was happy I didn't get married in Italy. But this way I was single. They can do what they wanted with me. I'm single. I wouldn't ask them something. Then I went to my brother-in-law. He had a factory from boxes he made uniforms. Years back, they didn't have plastics, like everything is plastic. Boxes, they made boxes for stores, fancy stores of boxes. In that time, he had fancy stores that cost a box $1.50, $2 a box. That time, in 1945. And so my brother-in-law asked me if I want to work. So he took me every day. He was going every day to the shop, so he took me. So he made me a slave there too, for nothing. And he's a Romanian. He's letting rest in peace. He is not here. So he said, okay, I work. The people working, his people, they came. They start 8 o'clock in the morning. They worked till 12 o'clock. They sit down for an hour. They ate their lunch quietly. I came. What she said? So, okay, I wouldn't go further. I went and I worked for him. And,
Could we get back to when you took the boat from Italy to come to America?
the American SS, I forgot the name of the SS Marine Jumper. SS Marine Jumper. I was an army boat. They used to be a one-deck boat. They built this boat for two decks. And they had stuff even in this. We didn't come in luxurious. We came in a boat.
How many of you were there?
Pardon?
How many of you were there?
We were, I don't know about how many we had, about 25 people. 20 people were going to America, so they loaded us up with the other stuff. So.
How did you feel when you arrived in New York Harbor?
I was happy. I want to meet two sisters from my whole family, nieces, nephews. And it's America. We thank God we're in America.
Do you remember the date you arrived in America?
What date I arrived. May. I was there. I was waiting for this to go to America. I went to the UNRWA. I went to the American Polish consul even before, and had all the papers, everything, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting. Nothing moved. I went in the consul, the Polish consul in Rome. I went. The Polish consul was, the quota was dead. The Russians were going, and other nations were going, but the Polish quota was dead. Didn't move. So I had to wait and wait and wait till I went with a person without a home. What the hell they call it? I was like
Stateless.
stateless. That's it. Stateless. You see. That's right. Then I came with this. You see, matter of fact, I had money. My family paid into the Hayas for the Schiffskarte, for the ships traveling to America. They paid into the Hayas. They gave the money, everything. But we were later, all of a sudden, with the stateless, they took me without money. Not me, everybody became a stateless. We were people without a home. Till I came to America.
Did you get here in 1946 or 1947?
To America? I came here in 1946 or 7, I don't know. Can't tell you exact.
And after you worked in the box factory, what did you do?
Help them work.
You worked there for how many years in the box factory?
My brother-in-law arrived here was Thanksgiving. I don't remember, what was it, in 47, I don't know. Anyhow, my brother-in-law, my sister, they went away for the winter. They went away to Florida this year. And he told even the foreman, break him in, there was a chopper machine, to cut break him in on this work. I said, yeah, I have a trade. I was in the shoe line. Not the bottom, but the tops, all kind, designing even I know how to do it. But it wasn't a trade, but I had no choice, I had to take. When he left to Florida, I said, goodbye, go have a good time. I'll have to get myself a job. I had a friend, he got married in Italy. He got married over there, but he didn't like who married this one. But he married her, but he had to. He wasn't legal in this country. They would send him back. So when he married an American, he was already legal in this country. But it didn't work the way he meant. So he went away. He divorced her. Not long he divorced her.
So you got another job?
I got another job.
What kind of a job?
I was upper maker, designing the shoe, making that. I could make the whole shoe, except the shoemakers made the bottoms, only the uppers.
So how many years did you do that in America?
Oh, I was on a job over 20 years.
And did you retire from that kind of a job?
No, I was in another job, but also in this same line.
Could you describe where you met your wife?
Oh, my wife, a blind date. You know what happened? I took it very nicely, Well, one time I carried in my pocket the telephone number more than 6 months. I didn't call her. Her friend introduced, my friend introduced me, and her friend introduced them. So the end was, yeah, one day finally, the friends were after me. What happens? Already so long already, you said you're going to call or you don't call. Okay, finally I made myself, they were after me. So finally I made up my mind, okay, I'll try, I'll call. I called later day, but I called late already. You see, for a date I should call the beginning of the week. So, but I called in a Thursday. Thursday I called up at night, and she answered the telephone. She says, I'm sorry, hold up. I called, hold up. She was cooking, she was at home, I don't know, she lost a couple of months short before I got to know her. And wait a minute. She had stuff in the kitchen, and for Shabbos. This was Thursday, she was cooking, well, she was working at that time too, but she cooked Thursday night for Sabbath. And no matter, we went out Saturday night, I took her, I remember where I took her Radio City, had a movie, had a show. Oh, imagine for 99 cents. You could imagine, this is 45 years ago. And we had a good time, enjoyed. I took her out. It was nice. And so, little by little, we got to know each other. And this was the end.
And how many children do you have?
2. My son and my daughter.
And how old are they?
Yeah. My son, you asked me something, but I think I heard she was talking with I think my daughter is, 41. And my son is 37. Don't take me off, but something like the close. I think this is it.
Do you have grandchildren?
I have 3. My daughter have 2 boys and a girl. My son have 1. Here she is, the cookie. She is. Oh, she's okay. Beautiful. This is my son. This is my daughter-in-law. And this is the little one. He waited 5 years for her. They were busy. See, that time, he didn't have time to think about family raising. But they were busy. They bought a house, and so that's it.
Mr. Schrank, why have you decided to tell us your story?
Which story?
Story of your experiences during the Holocaust.
The experiences? What experiences I had? What experience?
You have agreed to tell us your story today. What would be the reason for allowing us to come into your home today?
Why? Believe me, I know it's a complicated, my job I had to do here. I wasn't so anxious to do. I know it was a very, very complicated things to do. I told them what they pressed on me. My daughter, this is, you're doing, matter of fact, I'll give the kids Hanukkah guilt. So all jumped on me. My son-in-law, my daughter, Daddy, I don't want to give the children Hanukkah guilt. This will be the present. Oh, they'll get theirs, what is coming to them. It's coming. It's not coming, but they so lovely children. They get every year from me. My children. They're very fine children. God bless them. I enjoy them. They're not like some children. They're fresh. They raise them children. The parents, they're nice, and they raise them the nice way. But the children sometimes they in the groups, you know, in school. When he was going to Yeshiva University, he had his own type of people. Not like I said, he wouldn't go with a gun, he wouldn't go with the other things. It's a child like raised like it should be. Respectful children, respect the parents. It's a different life. You have like you hear what's going on now. Look, going in the street, in train. Today, this morning, you hear in the train. You hear everyday things. They pushed them on the tracks. The woman, luckily, they didn't kill her.
So this is a gift to your grandchildren.
I hope so. I hope to God. As you see, I had years to live. I was in the concentration camp, but I could be any second. Yeah, I can go back. I can go back. I was in Plaszow. I didn't mention. We were working in the Barackenbau, and the people. Yeah, we were working, and on the war, move away the earth. You see, I forget from one thing to the other, and we loaded up the wagons and pushed it away. What I told you this, but I forgot one wagon fell down from the tracks. They had to push away. So some people they were in front. We had a couple of wagons going. The people were pushing, and we came. The wagon fell down from the tracks. They had to pick. It's loaded, and they had to pick this up. So a couple of people had to come and pick this up. And meanwhile, this one SS man, he did see everybody. The ganze Haufen is standing over there. He called it. He had a little boy. He cleaned the shoes. He did the arrows for the SS. A young Jewish boy. He was working for them. So he sent this. He went out on where the prisoners. The prisons have the towels, standing up and watching on the binacles. Watching. They see all of a sudden the ganze Haufen, they call it. The ganze Haufen, that's mean the whole, standing, they're not doing nothing. He sends down to the little boy, he sends down and he says, he was running, the Germans, they prepared over there, outside for the winter, they made potatoes when they took, this was fall time. They covered up with straw, with earth. This for the winter. They have later to plant outside the potatoes. So the boy comes down to the running over the potatoes and everything. The ganze Haufen, no weg. The ganze Haufen bleibt hier. Jetzt mean the ganze Haufen. You don't understand what the ganze Haufen. The whole garbage. I explain it. The ganze Haufen. Stay. Nobody move. You just stay. The chef. Befehl from the chef. The order from the Lagerkommandant. And nobody moved away because they were staying here, and they undressed. Told them to get undressed. Only they had the rest undressed to take long. Ich werde sein zurück in 15 Minuten. He watches his watch. I'm going to be here in 15 minutes. In 15 minutes? Okay, there are people standing. He had, one guy, you see, was, one guy, what he was taking care of those, the other, he got 25. You see, like he came, assessment, he was a Jewish guy, a foreman, like a foreman he was. So he said up, Herr Chef, in welcher Gehorsam 1,25. He had said like a soldier, he had to stay this Jewish guy to the other, the rest. The ganze Haufen bleibt stehen. Nobody could move. The two guys, they built a barrack. No, they built a for the cars garage. And then two guys, they heard Befehl from chef. Nothing was happening. They know somebody is going to be here dead. The two guys escaped. They in this building where they were building this garage. And he comes in 15. You know, they just they to the second if they say something to Germans. So he comes. He meldet, Herr Chef, die 23, zwei Leute, ich weiß nicht, wie sie sind. So, he got here 23, two's missing. Wo sind sie? So, where are they? So he says, I don't know, they run away here. So, meanwhile, they jumped away inside. They jumped inside in this garage, and they hide themselves inside. When he came already back, he went in the garage, and he started to look. After look again, they were hidden inside. There is nowhere to hide inside, especially they were building the place. Oh, he found them. And we hear one shot. Then we hear another shot. I said, this is the end. This is finished. He shot those two guys. They run away. They knew that, okay. Otherwise, first he said, when he told him to undress, so he says, the ganze Haufen wird erschossen. He said that the whole garbage, Haufen is, dirt, going to be shot. So by them, to say a word is a word. So everybody here, we're going to be shot. We have nothing to lose. So they run away. The other 27, they had Jewish police, Yiddish Ordnungs, Polizei. They had the Jewish police Ordendienst, the Jewish police. Yeah, this German SS-man, the ganze Haufen, the 23 what remained, you'll take them, he says, take them to the Juden, the police. The police, they had a special office in for the officers. For the officers, I'll finish right away. For the officers, in the end was.
We'll pick this up in the next tape. December 14th, 1995, tape 5. The survivor is Sidney Schrank. The interview is taking place in Bayside, New York, United States of America. My name is Anne Bernard. I'm interviewing Mr. Schrank in English. Were you affected by what happened in this episode that you've just described on the previous tape?
Yes, I was affected.
In what way? Were you hurt?
Yes.
Did somebody beat you up?
Yes. I was beaten up. They took me to usually by order I should get lashes, 50 lashes. Everybody of us were a group of 23, and everybody should get lashes. That's why it was hurting me. I couldn't work. And my friends
Were also hurt, were they not?
why they hurt?
They all were hurt.
They all were hurt. They all were hurt. That's it.
I'd like to get back to my question of a while back, which was to tell us why, if you have any additional thoughts of why you are giving the story of your Holocaust experience to the Shoah Foundation.
Why I am I get it about making this. Yes, I would like to make this remembrance for my children. They should know we had a Holocaust, and I was there, and I survived. But that's why I want to tell my children, grandchildren, this is for my memory. I survived, and I want them to know we had a Holocaust. But I lost my family. I lost my whole family that I had, and nobody. I'm the only survivor in the whole group. I had a big family. I'm the only one to remember. It was a Holocaust. This is it.
Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
telling us this story.
Thank you.
Describe this photograph.
On the left side is my grandpa, grandpa. The next to my grandpa is my sister, Bailey. And next to is my brother-in-law, Nachman.
Do you remember what year this was taken?
I didn't live with them. I don't have idea when this was made.
Who is this a photo of?
This is my father's photo.
How old was he approximately when this was taken?
I don't know exact how old he was, but he probably was about 60 years old.
Who is this a photograph of?
This is my brother. He was in the cavalry in the Polish, and he was in the. That's it.
Who's this a photograph of?
That's me, the first one, and the others are friends of mine. I don't recall their names.
What year was this?
This I don't know.
1945?
1945.
Please explain that who's in this photograph.
That's my picture. I am in this photograph.
And what kind of a uniform are you wearing?
Oh, this is where we had these uniforms in concentration camp, and they have numbers. The numbers were, I have a tattoo of my left arm, and the number is 4991.
I'm going to ask you, who is this?
That's me.
And where was this taken?
In Italy,
After the war?
after the war.
Where was this taken?
This was taking. I think this was taken in Italy. In Italy, near the gate where I went out.
In a special kind of a camp?
This was in the international UNRWA camp, Bari.
Tell us about this photograph and where you are in it.
I'm here on the right, in the back row, on the right. And I have here friends here too on this picture.
And where was this taken?
This was taken in Italy. Before we left to America.
What is this photograph?
This photograph is the entry to the transit Bari camp.
What does that sign say?
What it says? It's to get into the camp, Bari. This is the entry in and out. Here was the office.
What are you doing at the sewing machine?
In the sewing machine, I'm sewing slippers, men's slippers, and later we used to give it to people away in transit camp, and this was the people could use it.
Please describe this photograph.
Yes, I am on the left side in this picture. This was, this is friends of mine, but met them in the camp.
And is this on a ship?
And this is the ship, but doesn't show the SS Marine Jumper. It was the name from the boat.
Would you describe this picture for us?
This picture, it's my wife and me.
Your wedding picture.
This is my wedding picture.
What year was this?
In 1952, May the 2nd.
Tell us about this photograph.
This is my wedding picture. We got married June the 8th in 1952.
Who are these pictures of?
This is pictures mine, my son, and my daughter. And what else can I tell you?
How old are they approximately in this photo?
The boy is 2 years old, and my daughter is 5 years old.
What is the occasion for this photograph?
This was a bar mitzvah, my granddaughter, and
Who are the people in the photograph from the left?
this is my son-in-law. This is the father for my granddaughter, and next is my daughter. That's me. I don't.
On the right, who's the person sitting next to you on the right?
Next. Who was that? Can't see it. But
grandson.
This is my grandson, Daniel.
And who's the little girl in front of you?
This is Cara, my granddaughter, Cara. This is my son's daughter.
And your son is in the picture as well on the left?
No, that's his grandson. That's it.
This is my son, Philip. And next to Philip is his wife, Lisa. And this is Daniel.
And next, that's me, your wife.
It's not so clear. I'll let it go. That's Yetta.
And the year was last year, 1995.
1995. This is it. I don't know who this. Did I call this? No. I want to introduce my wife, Yere.
We've been married for 42 years, and all these years that I was married to him, we often talked about his experiences and his family and the Holocaust. And I always wanted him to make some kind of a report on a video, and he just didn't want to do it because he wanted to get it out of his mind. But now, with so much going on with anti-Semitism, and my children have grown, and they are very interested in his experiences and his family, and they want that he should make this video so they can have it as that their father was witness and saw what went on in the world, considering the fact that people are saying there was never a Holocaust. And my grandchildren are very interested, they always asked him when they were small, what was that number on his arm? And of course, when they were young like that, he didn't want to discuss it, so he only said, "This is my telephone number." And they said, "Oh, Grandpa, I don't believe it." But now they know what it is, and they want to have this for their children, and the world should know that there was a Holocaust. And he is a survivor, which is something that I really, till this day, don't know how he ever came out alive. And this will be proof, and I'm very happy that Spielberg has decided to do this great videos of these Holocaust survivors.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.